Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keegan and welcome back to another video on my channel. Now today's video is going to be all about talking about the Gold Coast Suns fixture for the 2017 season. So what I do is I thought I'd give you the fixture up. I've got MS Paint open, we're going to have a bit of fun, I'm going to talk you through the season and I'm going to show you how I think we're going to go. As always, make sure you do like the video, subscribe if you don't want to miss any of the videos on here to do with AFL or Supercoach. They're probably my two main focuses this season, so make sure you do keep around to watch those. Without any further ado, let me show you what the fixture looks like and give you my opinions on the games. Here is what the fixture looks like. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly, give you my opinion, and then give you a bit of a talk about the game, and then give you what I think is going to happen. So the first one, Brisbane Lions. They're a good up-and-coming team. Queensland AFL has, from all intents and purposes, been pretty struggling lately. But I reckon that we are going to win that game. And if we're serious about this year, we should win it pretty comfortably. So we're giving that a tick. This next game, Saturday the 1st of April against GWS, we are going to struggle massively. This team here, GWS, are going to go close to winning the premiership. And we're nowhere near that, unfortunately, at the moment. So I'm going to say that is a massive loss. So at the moment, we are 1-1. Next round, we have Hawthorn. Now, it's an interesting game because we don't play Hawthorn at Metricon too often. And they're going through an interesting period of time where they've lost players. They've no Mitchell, no Lewis, and they're going to have Amira, who they brought in from us, and I'm excited that I'm hoping Amira plays this game because it will give us a chance to get into him, come back to the Suns, let the boys get into him, dig into him a bit, and hopefully it plays on his mind a bit, and he can have a bit of a substandard game because when he's on, he's an amazing player. So Hawthorn, it's a winnable game. I'm not going to give us the win here because I still think Hawthorn are a bit too strong, but it's not a game that we're definitely without a shot. I reckon we're a decent chance of winning that game. Carlton, we should win that. I'm ticking that off. Again, that's a team that was sort of around the area last year. But if I look at the way Carlton have recruited over the trade period, I don't think they've added anything to their team at all. I think their team is actually hasn't really basically stalled. So even if it is in Melbourne, I think that we should be getting the win there. Crows at home at Metricon, we've never beaten the Crows, and they seem to absolutely have the wood on us, and they absolutely slam us every chance they get. So that is a big fat cross. We've just never been able to match it with them. So what can you say? North Melbourne at Etihad. North Melbourne are interesting. They were all right last year, and they they made finals, but that's all they did. And this year they look even older, and they've got rid of a lot of their experience, and they haven't got a lot of talented kids coming through. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, of course, but I don't think that they're going to be anywhere near as good as suggested as the latter last year, I should say. So I think this season they're going to struggle probably a bit more, and I'm going to actually give us a better than 50% chance of winning that game. Obviously, by round 6, we'll probably have more of an idea of where teams are selling. But at this present point in time, I'm actually giving us the win against North Melbourne. Probably me being optimistic as a Sun supporter, but what are you going to do? Next week, the next round, we have got the Cats up at Metricon. They're another team that have got a lot of older players and haven't got a lot of good youth coming through. But when they're older players, Selwood, who's 29, Dangerfield, I think, is 26 or 27, so he's still relatively young. And they've still got their first 22 players are really good and really solid. After that first 22, though, I feel that they will drop off. Full strength, they're up there towards the top. But if they get injuries and they start losing players, then I reckon that they might struggle. But if they've got a full strength team coming into that game, I reckon they're going to be too good for us. I'm going to give that a cross. The next round, round 8, before our bye, we actually head to China. We head to China to play Port Adelaide, and I'm not looking forward to this game. I just don't I like the idea of trying something a bit different, but I don't know if selling a game to China is the right idea. Let's hope we get to wear a red kit when we play in China, because the Chinese do consider red a lucky colour, and hopefully if we get to wear that kit out there, they might actually start supporting us over Port Adelaide. It is our home game technically, but we have sold it basically to Port Adelaide. They get to basically get merchandise as the home team. They get treated as the home team pretty much all the way. So we've had to sell our home game for that. We've made some money because we need to find another income stream. I'm not sure about selling a game overseas. Hopefully in a couple of years when we're a bit more solid and a bit more of a foundation, we don't have to worry about that. But at the moment, it's money that we need, so we sort of have to do it. As far as on field goes, I'm going to give us the win. I don't reckon Port Adelaide are that good. Especially at the end of last year, we played them at last round last year. Actually played them last round this year. But last year, we actually looked all right. For a team that we put out that had very little experience, we actually almost got over the line against Port Adelaide. So I reckon that is, I'm going to give us a win in there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 wins out by round 8. So that would make our record 4 and 4 after 8 rounds. And if you offered me 4 and 4 after 8 rounds at the start of the season, I'll take that. I'll take 4 and 4 every day of the week. All right, so we have our bye, and then we get back into it, and we've got Melbourne at the MCG. Oh, sorry, not Melbourne at the MCG. I mean Melbourne in Alice Springs. I feel like we almost go to more grounds, more suburban grounds, or more out of the way grounds than any other team. We got Cairns, we're off to Alice Springs, we're off to Shanghai. We're playing all these games here, there, and everywhere, but can't really complain, I suppose. It's just the way it is, and being a smaller team, that's how you get put out. Melbourne are tricky because they're about I imagine Melbourne are about where we are as far as maturing into a solid team heading into the finals. So this is really a 50-50 game. Being a Suns supporter, I have to believe we're going to win this game, because if we're serious about playing finals, I think we win this game. So I'm going to give it a tick, even though I'm well aware Melbourne are a very good team, and on their day, they will absolutely slaughter us. But that's probably the most 50-50 game we have come across so far. West Coast and Adelaide, West Coast at home at Metricon. They made finals, but again, they were nothing special. They just made finals. Are they going to go backwards to go forwards? No Nat Nui is going to hurt them. Having Sam Mitchell will make their midfield better. It's going to be interesting. That's also another, because it's a Metricon, it's another game I'm sort of not sure about. I'm going to give us the loss, only because we've never actually beaten West Coast. We got a draw. We got a draw in 2015 where Tommy Lynch kicked a goal with about 10 seconds to go, and he celebrated like he won because he actually thought the goal got them over the line, even though it was a draw. But I still think West Coast is still a really good team, even without Nat Nui. Their midfield looks pretty good, and therefore Josh Kennedy's an absolute killer, and he has ripped us apart to shreds, and I can see him doing it again. Hawthorn, again, hard to tell. 12 rounds in, it could be all really different. But away at the MCG, I give us even less chance. So that's another cross against us. We have Carlton next game, round 13. Carlton at Metricon. If I gave them a win at Etihad, I'm giving us the win here too. I reckon we can beat Carlton. If we can beat Carlton at Etihad, I definitely think we can beat them at Metricon. Then we have St Kilda at Etihad. St Kilda are a lot like Melbourne. They're all in a similar position to us. We're a decent young team pushing up towards the finals for the final 8 positions, and we're definitely a chance of beating St Kilda. We actually beat them last year in that horrible season we had. Probably our most impressive win was beating St Kilda when they came up to Metricon. So I'm going to give that a tick, because if we think we're as good as we think we are, we should be beating St Kilda. North Melbourne at Metricon. If I gave us the win against them at Etihad, I'm giving us the win here, so I'm going to give that one a tick too. Sydney at the SCG. I'm just not even going to explain myself. That's a cross. Never beaten Sydney. Probably don't look like doing it at the moment because they are so solid. Collingwood, another team that we're probably about the same level as. I'm giving us the win because it's at Metricon. Collingwood are interesting. Bucks he's coaching for his career at the moment, so he's brought in a few older heads in an older head in Daniel Wells, for instance, who, because he needs results now essentially, so he's got to bring those older players in to push towards finals and get them into the finals after a few years. So I don't reckon they'll go too well for them. I think they'll struggle again, and I don't think Bucks will be in a job at the end of the year, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. Do let me know in the comments below. Western Bulldogs, essentially said the premiers. At the moment, we don't look like beating them, so I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna give that across and move on. Richmond at Metricon, I'm giving us a tick. Richmond, we like to think, as Sun supporters, we like to think Richmond are bunnies, even though they've beaten us probably more than we've beaten them. But who can forget Carmichael Hunt kicking a goal after the siren to get the win over the Tigers up in Cairns? That's probably sticks out as one of my favourite moments as a Sun supporter, even though it was with Carmichael Hunt. He inevitably screwed the club up after he left. But that was still a great moment, and I'm going to give us a tick because I think we can beat them, especially up here. Fremantle away. We did actually win that game last year because Fremantle were poor. I don't know how Fremantle are going to go this year. I actually think Fremantle will improve, and they're better than what their position last year suggested. So I'm going to give Fremantle the benefit of the doubt and say we won't be able to get over the top of them. But in the end of the day, who knows? You don't really know with Fremantle. They're probably the big unknown heading into this season. Brisbane at the Gabba. Again, Brisbane are looking good into the future, but at the moment I don't really rate them, so I'm going to give us the win over them. 2 games left heading into round 22. Essendon at home. Now, if it was Essendon in Melbourne, I'd probably lean towards Essendon, but up at Metricon, as well as with a lot of those Essendon players coming back, I think they'll be, after not playing a season, they could run out of puff by the end of the season. They could be a bit tired with soft bodies that might be a bit, I don't want to say underdeveloped, but that haven't had the stresses of a whole season on them in a couple of years. So I reckon that the Suns may get them there. And finally, round 23, Port Adelaide again, but this time we're at Adelaide Oval. Because we're at Adelaide Oval, I'm actually going to give it to Port Adelaide. We don't really play Adelaide too well, so I'm going to give that to Port. All right, so we had 4 wins after 8 rounds. Here we go, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which leaves us a record of 12 and 10 overall, which means, look at this writing in MS Paint, it's amazing. If we were to get 12 and 10, that would probably be enough for us to make finals. As I said, this is a very optimistic point of view for me. So people obviously will have their own opinions of the Suns and how their own teams are going to go. But if we were to have this season and go 12 and 10 and snuck into the finals, I would be thrilled with that. Will that happen? I reckon we probably, if I'm being honest and realistic with myself, we probably will miss finals. We'll probably end up, I reckon, in about 9th to 12th. But if we can sneak that 8th spot or that 7th spot, then I'm going to be over the moon and I am going to be absolutely ecstatic. My rule is, if the Suns somehow make the grand final, I will fly from England over to Melbourne. I'll somehow manage to borrow and steal a ticket to the grand final and I will be there. But that's a long way in the future. I probably don't have to worry about that this season anyway. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Do make sure that you do like the video. Subscribe if you want to follow the rest of my AFL content. So this is what I'm looking for. It's been so long since the AFL, it feels like forever since the AFL finished, so I'm looking forward to when the season is, well, finally going to get underway. So anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.